the aims for the LEP is really to serve our business community the best way we possibly can, take advantage of a good close relationship with the council to get that communication working between regulators and businesses. You know, they're two very different worlds, they have different languages, different ethoses, philosophies, so it's easy for them to get into a situation where they don't understand each other. There's a huge will within the council to get closer to the business community and work more closely with them. So we're starting on the right foot already, and really as an LEP we want to just encourage that, catalyse it, help it push it along. We have a government initiative under which we can do that, so there seems to be the stars being nicely aligned with a Better Business for All initiative coming out of the government. It all seems to be pointing in the right direction.
Every business in Cornwall is affected to a greater or lesser degree by regulations. The LEP recognise this, and so they have joined together with the regulators themselves to establish what parts of the regulations are red tape so that we can try to remove that, but also to ensure that regulations do not act as a barrier to growth of all of the businesses.
When you start a new business, or set up a new business, or even take over an existing business, you have many regulations and policies that you have to adhere to. There are many cost implications in setting up a business, much infrastructure to put in place. But one of the key drivers on it is regulations, and as you can see, this is some of the regulation protocols that I have to adhere to. There's a lot of information to be gathered. You don't know sometimes where to get it from, but more to the point as well, when you're running your own business, it becomes a secondary thought to you. You're more worried about your costs, your overheads, your staffing, your product, your internal procedures, and these regulations are things that sometimes get put to the side. But they are legal obligations and we all know we have to do them, so sometimes we need to get help with them.
We found through talking to a lot of businesses that many of them have found by bringing the regulators in and talking with them that they found alternative ways of complying with regulations and they thought was possible, and it saves them a lot of money and a lot of time. So we're hoping by encouraging people to join with the regulators and talk to them that this will remove some of those obstacles.
Get that working well, that businesses no longer feel like regulation is a barrier to their growth, but actually in some occasions can help them grow. You use the regulator as an advisor. What do I need to put in to be fit for purpose? What's the best way of doing this? The guys in the regulation department know what the regulations are and actually might save people money by saying, well, you don't have to go for that, it works much better. And again, planning decisions, the influence of our planning department on the commercial sector is enormous, so again, need to be working together and not separately.
You should be making your business better by adhering to them. That is the whole idea. And this Better Business for All, that is the concept for all these businesses in Cornwall, that you make your product and your offering and your business better, but you can get the support from the local authorities to do that as well. So it's getting away from the fear factor, working together with the local authorities to actually drive your business forward.
Everybody fears the regulators, everyone, but it's a perception thing. The reality is, whether you fear the regulators or whether you don't, they're there and the regulations have to be complied with. But the LEP has made great strides to have regular meetings, a steering group's been set up with the regulators themselves, and we've been pleasantly surprised that the regulators don't want to act as a barrier to growth. They do want to be actively involved, and most importantly, they want all of the good businesses out there to realise that they're not there to catch them out, cost them fines, cause them problems. And I know this is hard for some people to believe, but you've really got to take that step, talk to the regulators, and then they'll all find out for themselves.
Being in food and beverage all my life, ice cream parlour was something that I hadn't done before. So we had an empty shell of a building and we didn't know quite what we had to put where. So the first thing I actually did was get in touch with my local enforcement officer to ask him, what did I need to do? I hadn't actually met this enforcement officer before, so it was an opportunity for me to meet him. So he came out, we had an agreeable time, he came and saw me, he gave me some great advice, we discussed what we needed where, what I needed to put in place. So before I'd even got builders in or constructors in, I knew the things that we were going to have to do.
The vast majority of businesses in Cornwall actually comply with the regulations. It's a good job that regulators are there to actually impose fines and stop those bad businesses. So in a way, all good businesses are benefiting by having regulators and regulations. By being an early adopter and by dealing with the regulators direct and ensuring this scheme is rolled out across the whole of the area, we're hoping that there'll be great benefits that will be seen by the businesses and the people of Cornwall by our involvement here.
Business always thinks about, what about enforcement? But actually doesn't happen very often. The regulators work very hard before they get to an enforcement situation. The other thing is that they have got experience in those areas. So if you're talking about environmental health, if you're talking about fire, talking about planning, talk to the experts. They might actually help your business grow. And again, it's removing something that could otherwise be a burden. So it's, my advice always talk early and fairly straightforwardly, and that will save you money in the end.